Hey friends, Chubby Meeple, back with another game for you today. Just a quick overview, gonna give you a quick how to play, maybe actually show you an entire round or an entire game, because the game is a very quick playing game. Today, we're gonna take a look at This Game is Killer. This is designed by Ivan Turner and published by Smirk Dagger games. We'll jump to the table, I'll give you a quick overview of how the game's played. We'll actually play through the game in this video because the game does play so quickly, and then I'll jump back here and give you my thoughts on This Game is Killer. This Game is Killer is a deadly party game that is often quite hilarious in the way that it plays out. This sees players being hunted by an alien life form aboard a cramped cargo vessel that's traveling through deep space. The object of the game is simple. You have to try to survive at any cost and remove the alien threat before it kills everyone on board. You're going to be doing that, so you have your player cards. You're going to start off alive. Obviously, you can be killed by the alien and by other crew members, depending on how things go. But on your turn, you're essentially going to play two cards. One card is going to be the location on the ship that you're in. The other card will be played as your action, or the action that you're going to take in that location. And then all cards will resolve. Some locations might get destroyed. Some players will likely die. The alien might die or survive. If the alien dies, all surviving crew members win. If all of the crew members die, then the alien wins and there is no winner. To set up a game of This Game is Killer, first place the ship HUD board in the center of the table where all players can see and access it. This will be used to see which locations on the ship are still in play. Any location with its name visible on the HUD board is considered in play and accessible. Place a crew status card with the blue crew status nominal side face up. This indicates that the players at the start of the game are all still alive. In this case, we are playing a 6-player game of This Game is Killer, so we will use all location cards and the entire crew deck. If playing with 3 to 5 players, the bridge and medlab locations would be removed from the location deck, and all crew cards matching those locations, there would be 3 of each, so 6 total cards would be removed from the crew deck. Shuffle the 8 location cards and place them face down in a row on the table below the ship HUD board. This is called the hunting row. Shuffle the crew cards to form a crew deck, and the player who most recently saw film about aliens becomes the first crew member, the first player. You can also determine this randomly. Before we dive into gameplay, I want to give a quick overview of the crew cards themselves. Each crew card can be oriented in one of 2 ways. If oriented with a location at the top of the card, so in this case galley is clearly readable and not upside down, this means this card is being played for its position. This is determining where your character will be on the ship and will determine whether you live or die based on where the alien is. These cards can also be oriented to their action side. In this case, the corporate spy action can be red, and this will allow you to, this basically dictates what action you're going to take in the location that you have dictated. On your turn, you're going to be playing 2 of these crew cards. You will always orient one card to be your position, or to say the location that you're going to be in, and the other card will be oriented for the action, so that you are telling all the other players at the table what you're going to do and in which location on the ship you're going to do that particular action. Next, deal 2 crew cards to each player. Crew members should keep these cards secret from the other players until those cards get revealed later in the round. Now, in turn order, beginning with the first player, every player will play 1 card from their hand and orient that card to indicate whether they are playing that card for its location or for its action. So this player can take a look at their 2 cards, and they're just going to say, I'm in the access corridor. We move clockwise around the table. So this player is in the airlock. This player's decided to go to the engine room. This player is going to play an action. This is the internal scans action. It says to reveal a location. The alien will not be at that location in this round, and it will get shuffled back in the next round. So let's say we're going to reveal this location. So the med lab. So we know the alien is not going to be in the med lab for this location. We continue around the table to this player. And this player is simply going to play Close Call. If the alien strikes their position, they will get to reveal a new location card, and the alien will go there instead. And then this final player here is going to dictate that they're going to go to the shuttle bay. Now, beginning with the player who played their last card, so this player here, they will play the second card and go in a counterclockwise method around. So essentially like a reverse snake draft, if you will, without the drafting part. They're going to play their second card and orient the card in the opposite direction that they oriented. So this player said they're going to the shuttle bay. So they're going to be playing their other card for its action. This says depressurization. Choose a location to depressurize. And at the end of the round, I'll tell you what that means. So they're going to select, looking at where everyone is, they're going to select to depressurize the airlock. So we'll keep that in mind as we go through here. This airlock is going to get depressurized during the round. This player, Close Call, if the alien strikes your position, reveal a new location card, but they have to reveal a location. They are in the bridge. We continue around. This player did the internal scans and revealed a location, telling everyone that the alien will not be in the med lab. For their second card, they reveal the access corridor. So they are in the access corridor for this round. This player in the engine room has played heavy weaponry. At the end of the round, there's an end of the round ability that will trigger, and will trigger everything. So I'll show that in just a second here. This character is in the airlock, and for their card, they are choosing to blow the airlock. Not a very great use of cards, but we'll resolve that, show what that looks like. And then finally, our first player, who's in the access corridor, is going to be playing the corporate spy card as an ongoing action, meaning this action is permanent. If the alien would kill you and you are alone, you stun it, take a sample, and kill life support, leaving in a secret escape pod. You win and everyone else dies. So this player now has an ongoing action that if they would be killed, they're going to win the game. That could change as the game goes on. Now that all of the cards have been played, we move on to the next phase. The next step is determine where the alien is going to strike, or where the alien is on the ship. The first player gets to pick any of the face-down location cards and reveal it to show that that's where the alien is. Let's say we go with this card. So the alien is striking in the shuttle bay. Now we move on to resolving end-of-round actions. It's important to note that these will all resolve simultaneously, and all actions will resolve regardless if the player that playing the action is killed or not, while other actions are being resolved. So for example, we have an ongoing ability that's not an end of round. This will stay here inactive, or stay active. This particular player has chosen at the end of the round to destroy a location. We selected the airlock. So we're going to destroy the airlock. That will kill all crew within the airlock. Unfortunately, this player over here is in the airlock. That means this player, this crew member, is dead and has been killed because this player here decided to depressurize the airlock. So it says destroy that location and kill all crew within. Then we move to our player here at the bridge. This was simply this has a last on board ability. I can talk a bit about that in a little bit, but there's essentially no end of round actions to resolve here for this player. Our internal scans player has no on or end of round to resolve. We have an end of round with the heavy weaponry. You and your itchy trigger finger kill every other crew member at your position. So this particular crew member is in the engine room. We do not have any other crew members at the engine room, so this particular end of round ability won't affect anyone, won't kill anyone. This character has decided to vent the airlock that they are in. This says end of round to destroy the airlock and kill all crew members within. So essentially this player here would have killed themselves anyway. So the airlock got depressurized by this player's action. This player was deciding to vent the airlock, so basically we're targeting the airlock very aggressively. So the airlock has been destroyed, and this character is dead and removed from the game. The alien is striking in the shuttle bay, and we have a character in the shuttle bay, which means this character has been killed by the alien and is removed from the game as well. Now we enter the cleanup phase. Since we had a room destroyed with the airlock, we're going to take all of our location cards here. We're going to find the airlock card. Should be this one. And the airlock is now going to get set. We're going to get covered with its face down card to indicate that the airlock is gone and out of the game. The Med Lab, because it was revealed by the internal scans ability of this player up here, that card specifically says that this will get reshuffled back into the location deck so that the alien could eventually hit that Med Lab again. The Shuttle Bay is going to be placed in a separate line of cards called the Previously Hunted section, and that's important. It gives the players information that this is a room the alien is already hunted in, and unless something changes up and reshuffles things back in, the alien will not be attacking that Shuttle Bay again or hunting in the Shuttle Bay again. Every location on the ship HUD board has 3 crew member cards that are associated with that location. Since the airlock was destroyed in this last round, in addition to removing the airlock card from the location deck and placing it over the airlock location on the board, we also have to go through the crew deck and find the airlock cards and remove them from the game because the airlock is no longer a part of this game. Had there been other rooms that had been destroyed during that round in addition to the airlock, we would also remove those location and those matching crew cards as well. All of the remaining location cards are shuffled and redistributed into a hunting row. The remaining crew cards are shuffled into a deck, and each remaining player will be dealt 2 cards. First player will then rotate clockwise. This player is dead, so this player can't be first player. So this player becomes our new first player. And play is going to continue in the same method. So each player is going to take a look at their cards, determine how they're going to handle this. So let's say this player is going to do the Shuttle Bay, knowing that it's a safe location. This player here is also going to go to the Shuttle Bay, knowing that it's safe. So their action cards will really determine what's going to happen and who's going to be attacked by the alien, although those players are both safe. We have a player here that he's going to play Loss of Comms. So for the rest of the round, players have to play their position cards face down. So this card will be played for its location. And then finally, this player is the only player that hasn't played yet, and they have to play a position card face down. So our other 2 players over here have already picked their position cards, so this action won't affect those 2 players. However, this player, whether they choose to play their position card first or second, will have to play that position card face down, and then any face down position cards will get revealed simultaneously before we reveal the location. So let's see how this player wants to manipulate the board, or how they want to play out their turn. And let's see here. We are going to play the position card face down. This is our final player, so this player is actually going to show off their action immediately. Their action they're going to play is We Can't Let It Escape. This ignites the fuel reserves and torches the Shuttle Bay, which is very unfortunate for our 2 players over here that are in the Shuttle Bay, thinking the Shuttle Bay was going to be safe. Shows you some of the chaos that can happen. So unless one of their action cards keeps them alive, these 2 players are more than likely dead at the end of this round. This player has played their location face down, and it won't get revealed quite yet because of their Loss of Comms action that they played. This player over here plays Early Warning. If you would be killed by another crew member's action, you escape at the last second and live. So this player's action has saved them because this is a crew member action that would have killed them. They get to stay alive and will be alive for the next round. And certainly will be because we know the alien is not going to attack the Shuttle Bay. Our other character in the Shuttle Bay is playing the Motion Tracker. This says to play your Motion Tracker as your second card. You get to choose and peek at the alien's location in secret. And you may then rotate this card so that your position changes. So they're probably not going to do that because they know they're safe in the Shuttle Bay. But they would essentially get to choose and peek at the location. So this player is going to choose the location where the alien is going to be this time as opposed to the first player. Now they are the first player, but had one of the other players played this card, they would be the one choosing the location and they'd be peeking at it in secret. So this is going to be the location we're going to play where the alien is. I just looked at it, so I know where that's going to be. This player is now going to reveal their position card, and they are in the bridge. Now we reveal the alien's location. The alien is going to strike the engine room. So our engine room is being struck by the alien now. This player has to show theirs. They are also in the bridge. So the alien is striking the engine room. We have 2 players in the bridge and 2 players in the Shuttle Bay. Now, this player here can choose to rotate this card. Well, they chose not to. So this player is actually going to die because the shuttle bay was ignited and destroyed by this player. So the shuttle bay is gone. This player is now dead. This player in the shuttle bay would be dead, but their early warning allows them to survive. So these cards can simply be discarded and played now that they've been played. And then our crew members our crew members that are on the bridge are both going to survive as well. So these cards can simply be discarded. And we're now down to 3 players. So we enter our cleanup phase where we take the shuttle bay. Nope. Yes, the shuttle bay was destroyed by a player action. So that gets covered up. So now the shuttle bay is out. We now have to go through the cards that have the shuttle bay. And we pull those out. So there are our 3 shuttle bay cards. These will get removed from the game. We will then do another round of shuffling up the hunted row again. And again, this game goes much faster than you're seeing on screen, simply because I'm playing the role of all 6 players. Normally, all of these players, you'd have 6 different people sitting at the room or sitting at the table, and would be, playing these cards, discussing what they're doing. They would be simultaneously resolving all of their end of round abilities on the action cards that were played. So we're simply going to deal 2 cards to our surviving players. Our first player has also moved. This player up here is now our first player. And we'll continue to play this out because I want to see if these players can survive the alien, or if the alien will pull out a win here. So we are going to play. This player is going to say they're in the med lab. And we're going to save the second card will be the action. We move over to this player. This player will take a peek here, take a look at the actions. This player is going to go to the cargo hold, save their action card. And then this player here is going to go to the access corridor. So our players are all in different locations now. This player, being the final player to play their card, now plays their second card immediately, oriented the other direction, so they'll be playing it for the action. And they're playing the access ladder. The access ladder says to play the access ladder as your second card. You may rotate this card so that your position is now the engine room, and then you use the action of your previously played card, or they could choose to stay put. They're feeling pretty good. They're just going to stay right here in the access corridor as opposed to the engine room. This player in the cargo hold plays their second card, heavy weaponry with an end of round ability. So the end of round, they're going to kill any other crew members that are in their position, if there are any that end up in the cargo hold. Right now it doesn't look like there are, so we're going to reveal this. This is a close call card. If the alien strikes your position, you reveal a new location card instead, and the alien will go there. So this character is in our med lab. Our first player gets to select the location where the alien is going to attack. We're going to go with this one. The alien attacks the med lab. Now, we have a character in the med lab who normally would be dead. However, they played the close call. This says if the alien strikes the position, which it did, they get to reveal a new location card, and the alien goes there instead. So they're going to reveal this card. So the alien is going to attack the bridge. We have a med lab, a cargo hold, and an access corridor. There is no one in the bridge. We check for end of round. This has a last on board ability. This just had an instant ability that got played with the access ladder. This card up here has an end of round ability that says you and your itchy trigger finger kill every other crew member at your position. There's no one else in the cargo hold. So we've made it around where every one of these crew members has survived. No rooms got destroyed this time. So we're simply going to take all of the cards. We're going to move the bridge up here. I'll turn these this way. So we know the bridge has now been explored. We have 4 rooms left. All of the cards that were played this round will get shuffled back into the crew deck. Shuffle those back in. We'll play another round here and see if we can get a victory out of one of these players. We will also shuffle the location cards. Since there were no locations destroyed that round, there are no rooms to be destroyed. There are no rooms of the HUD board getting covered. There are also no location cards getting removed from the hunted row or from the crew deck. So we're just going to throw these 4 locations that we have remaining. So you'll notice we have 6 locations on the board that are uncovered, rooms that have not been destroyed. We have 4 rooms the alien could potentially hunt. Our players know that the engine room and the bridge are safe. We're going to deal 2 cards to each player, starting with our first player. And we fire up the round again. This guy is now our new first player. And let's take a peek at what actions we have here. This player is going to go to the med lab, save their action for card number 2. This player is going to the galley and saving their saving their action for card number 2. And then our player up here let's see here. This player is going to go to the access corridor. Now they get to play their second card as its action right away. Heavy weaponry. This is that end of round card we saw the last round, where if another crew member ends up in that player's location, that crew member will kill that player. So we're down back to this. We're going in reverse turn order again. This player is playing the maintenance hatch. If you would be killed this round, you escape and live instead. And there's an end of a round ability that will trigger at the end of the round. This player plays close call. If the alien strikes your position, you reveal a new location. So we're getting some dodginess of the alien. Our first player gets to select a room. We're just going to take the one on the end and see what happens. This is the med lab being attacked. They're in the med lab with their close call card, which means they get to reveal a different location instead. So the med lab is not being attacked. Instead, we have the cargo hold being attacked. Our players are in the galley, the access corridor, and the med lab. So again, all players have avoided the alien. Our end of round ability on here just says if the alien would have died, it also uses the hatch and lives. So this card can be a little bit of a double-edged sword. If the alien had attacked the galley, this player would have survived, but the alien also would have survived based on the end of round text. The cargo hold will move up to the previously hunted. We're going to reshuffle the 3 remaining rooms that we have. We know the med lab, the access corridor, and the galley are down here in some semblance of an order. We will shuffle up our played cards from the crew deck. Shuffle up the crew deck again. I'll take this here and shuffle it up. Give it a quick shuffle. We deal 2 cards. Again, we're starting with our first player, which has rotated this time, as always. And we start again. Let's see, what do we have here? This player is going to go to the cargo hold because they know that it's safe. Because the cargo hold is up here in our previously hunted row. Let's see, what do we have here? We're going to go to the galley, which is a little bit dangerous because the galley is one of the 3 locations still remaining on the ship that the alien has not hunted. And we're going to have a second player going to the cargo hold. Now, there are 2 cargo hold cards out here. I'm going to pause really quickly to talk about if the alien strikes in the cargo hold. Now, we know that's not going to happen because the cargo hold is up here. It's already been previously hunted. But if the cargo hold were to get turned up, and we have 2 characters in that cargo hold, the alien will only ever strike and attack 1 player. It's not going to kill all players in that room. What happens is you look at the top of the location cards, and you'll notice that they have a priority value numbered 1 to 3. This character here, this player here, has the priority of 3, meaning they would be the alien's target if the alien were to strike the cargo hold. We know that's not going to happen because the cargo hold is a safe place. So this player here is going to simply reveal their action card. It's the early warning. If you'd be killed by another crew member's action, you escape and live instead. Our player here is going to play their access ladder that we saw earlier. This allows them to rotate their card and basically change the location, and then they would use the action of the other card. They're going to do that. They're going to move to the engine room, knowing that it's also safe, knowing the galley is not safe. And now we're going to be a corporate spy. So this is an ongoing action. This action is permanent. This card will now stay in front of this player. If the alien would kill you and you're alone, you're going to end up winning instead, and everyone else will die. And then our first player down here will reveal their action last, because they're our first player. And they are choosing to seal off and jettison the bridge. So they're going to destroy the bridge. They then get to pick a location card. We're going to take this first one, and we have the access corridor. We have 2 characters in the cargo hold, 1 character in the engine room. All characters are safe. There are no end of round abilities on either of these 2 cards. This end of round ability says to destroy the bridge and kill all crew within it. No one's in the bridge, so no one dies. The alien also, unfortunately, was not in the bridge, so the alien didn't die. We're going to take the bridge location card and cover the bridge on the board. We're going to move the access corridor back to up to the previously hunted row. We're going to shuffle those. We're going to shuffle these cards all back together into the crew deck. We still have 3 crew members that are still alive, which is pretty impressive. I'm going to shuffle these back in just so we have cards for everyone. Our new first player is up here. We deal 2 cards to each player. And our first player will play their first card. And we know the engine room, the cargo hold, and the access corridor are safe. The alien will be striking either the galley or the med lab, so if you're playing, you're still alive at this point, those are the 2 rooms you want to avoid if you can. We are going to play the cargo hold. So this player is going to go to the cargo hold because they know it's safe. Again, the cargo hold's in that previously hunted row that you see at the top of the board. And this is something I did not do. So the bridge got destroyed last turn, which means these 2 bridge cards should have been removed from the game when the bridge got destroyed. So we should also have the shuttle bay. Shuttle bay and bridge cards should be out of this deck. The shuttle bay cards are out of the deck. Put those here. We'll give him 2 more cards so he actually has some options. Just reset on the fly. Why not? Let's see here. This player's going to go to the cargo hold as well. And then, let's see here. We're going to go to the engine room. This player is then going to play their second card for its action. This is the bioagent card. This says to choose a dead crew member and bring them back to life with an untested bioagent. They re-enter play next round. If successful, this card will get destroyed. And there's a last on board ability that if this character were to end up being the last on board, there's a condition on here that determines how they would win. This character reveals their action. Their action is Delayed Fuse. This is an ongoing action that says next round you are dealt 1 crew card, and that card has to be your position, and at the end of the next round the cargo hold will get destroyed. And then our other player up here who is also in the cargo hold is playing Depressurization. They're going to choose a location and destroy that location. They're going to choose to destroy the engine room. So at the end of the round we're going to destroy the engine room, which will kill all crew members in that room. Now one thing we didn't do is we did not use our bioagent to revive a crew member. So we're going to revive this crew member. They're back. They'll get to play the next round, assuming this round doesn't end with an alien victory. So the end of round, we're going to first, before we resolve the end of round ability of destroying the engine room from this action card, we're going to reveal the alien's location. So our first player will choose a location card. We're going to take this one, and the alien is striking the galley. No one's in the galley. We have 2 players in the cargo hold and a player in the engine room. We now resolve the end of round ability of destroying the engine room. So this character now is dead because they are in the engine room. We'll take the engine room card, mark the engine room as destroyed. This player is now out of the game. This character is now back to life. The galley is going to move up to the previously hunted room. We now know where the alien is going to strike on this next round. We need to go through, and any engine room cards need to be removed from the crew deck so as not to accidentally have the situation we had last time where we ended up with bridge cards in a player's hand. Let's get in this deck, pull the engine room card out. Should be 1 left. These are now removed from the game. We shuffle up the remaining cards. We know the alien is going to attack the med lab, so you hope as a player that you don't get dealt 2 med lab cards. This player is our new first player because that player was our first player last time. So we're going to deal out 2 cards to each player. Our first player here is going to determine how they want to handle this. And actually, this player only gets 1 card based on the last card that they played. And we have to remember that the cargo hold is getting destroyed. So this is their location only. All they get is the access corridor, which they know is safe. This player plays a card knowing the cargo hold is going to get destroyed and knowing the med lab is going to be the target of the alien attack. They are simply going to play and say that they are in the galley. Oh, not there, up here. This player's dead. So this player's in the galley, knowing that it is safe. It's not going to get destroyed at the end of the round. We're going to play an access corridor here. This player then plays their second card. It's the corporate spy. I picked this card up last time. This card should have already been here. So if this player gets killed by the alien, they're safe because of the corporate spy card that they have. I'm going to set it up here to remind myself not to pick it up this time. We then move in reverse turn order. This player flips their card over, and this is the containment protocol. They're going to seal off and sterilize the med lab. You heard that right. Seal off and sterilize the med lab. This character is just in the access corridor. So our first player gets to pick the location where the alien is going to attack. That location is, of course, the med lab. We have 2 characters in the access corridor and a character in the galley, so no one is struck. However, end of round abilities. This says to destroy the med lab and kill all crew within. So the med lab is destroyed. If any crew members had been in the med lab, they would be dead. This also says, anytime you see this little triangle with an exclamation point on the card, this indicates a way that the game might be over. And this says if the alien is there, it dies and the surviving crew win. The alien was in the med lab. The med lab got destroyed. The alien was destroyed, meaning that these 3 players that are still alive are the winners of the game. And that is how you play This Game is Killer. A couple of quick notes. There could be situations in the game where you don't have enough cards to deal 2 crew cards to a player, or when doing your cleanup phase and refilling the hunted row, there are no remaining face-down locations. In the case of the hunted row, if there are no more face-down locations, you simply destroy the last revealed location. So let's say the med lab was revealed last. The med lab would get destroyed. We would then reshuffle all of the face-up cards and form a new hunting row. With the med lab being destroyed as part of this, we would also go through and remove all of the med lab crew cards. Essentially what's happened in this situation is the alien has chosen to nest, making it uninhabitable by the players. They can't use that room any longer. So you'd also pull the med lab cards out of the deck before reshuffling. Reshuffle the face-up previously hunted locations, and they become a new face-down hunted row. In the event that you don't have enough crew cards to deal 2 cards to each player, because it's possible to destroy that many locations, then instead of dealing 2 cards to every player, each card will get dealt just 1 card All those cards will get revealed simultaneously, and they will all be for the position on the card, because all of the crew members are just too panicked to act and do any actions. And then you would reveal a location card as normal. So that is This Game is Killer. Again, from Ivan Turner, Smirk and Dagger Games. As you saw, the game itself is chaotic. It's random. There is a little bit of strategy once you get some more information about what locations have already been hunted and those types of things. And so the ongoing actions, those ongoing actions that stay out, if players get those, you'll know, okay, that player can't be killed because they're the corporate spy and they're going to win, so we don't necessarily want to have a situation where we try to prevent a situation where that person's there. Maybe we even want to try and choose locations that they're in to destroy them. Who knows? Very quick to play. This game will play from 3 to 10 players, so if you're looking for a large group game, you don't necessarily want to do social deduction, which is a lot social deduction and or party games that folks have to fall back on when you get to those large player counts. This one definitely fits in that party game esque type of game. It's not your traditional party game where you're, throwing cards around the table and doing goofy actions and moving around and a lot of things like that are super fun to play. This is a little bit different take on a party game in that it's quick actions. You're only playing 2 cards. You resolve all those cards. If you all died, the alien wins. You shuffle it up, you do it again. If some of you died, some of you lived, the alien also lived, you just shuffle those cards back in, get rid of any destroyed locations, play again. What I like about this game is, first of all, I really enjoy the production of this game. What you saw, that neoprene mat for the spaceship, for that cargo ship that you're in, that neoprene mat comes in the board. That is standard retail edition of the game. Nothing you saw on camera was a deluxe edition. This is exactly how the game sold. Retails for $15. So you get a neoprene mat, a couple decks of cards, and you're good to go for $15. And it's a game that plays up to 10 people. I really like that player count of up to 10 because a lot of times when you get into 8, 9, 10 player games, you're either doing social deduction like a One Night Ultimate Werewolf, you're doing party games, you're playing things like Telestrations or Wavelength or something like that, or Code Names, something you can play in teams. This one is every person for themselves. It's a little bit different take on a party game, but again, it still fits that niche of that category of being a quick to play game. So it could be something you're playing while you're waiting for other folks to show up for game night. It could be something that, you've split your groups and you've played a couple of 4-player games, 2 separate tables throughout the night because you've got 8 players. And at the end of the night, you all come together around one table and finish the game with an 8-player game of This Game is Killer. Or even a couple of games because the game can be over in 10, 15 minutes. I have seen games of this end in a single round because the alien either was killed right away, all of the players got killed right away, or you had that corporate spy card that came out that said, hey, if the alien attacks your location, you win instead and everyone else dies. I've seen that happen as well. Now, that being said, this game is completely random, complete chaos. I have played this with groups that it has completely fallen flat with, where people were at the table asking questions like, did we just play a game? Isn't this more of an activity? Those types of things. Those are not the things you want to hear when you're playing a game, or as the designer of a game. You don't want to hear people saying, isn't this more of an activity, or did we just play a game? Have we actually played a game tonight? Those kind of quips. I have had groups where I've played this where it's completely fallen flat. You could potentially have that same type of experience. That being said, I've also played this with groups where everybody was laughing around the table. Everybody was having a great time. Because the game is so short, no one cared that it could be over in 1 round or 2 rounds, or that it was completely chaotic and sometimes they were confusing, when does this happen? I've not had a situation where everybody goes, wait, that destroyed that and that destroyed that, so how does that work? That all works. So if you destroy multiple locations, they're both destroyed. If 2 players decide, hey, I'm going to destroy the engine room, well, the engine room got doubly destroyed. So, but I definitely want to point out that this could fall flat with some groups. For the groups that don't like complete randomness, they don't want the total chaos, they want to be able to plan a little bit more, and maybe even have a game that does last longer. Some people just don't. If the game's over in 10 minutes, their question is, what was the point? Why did we even start this? It lasted 10 minutes and now we're putting, it took us longer to set it up and tear it down than it did to actually play, which is why I would recommend playing more than one time. When you get this game out, if it does end quickly, shuffle all the cards up, play it again. Maybe play it a 3rd time, a 4th time. It doesn't matter. It's a very quick game, very lighthearted. The game doesn't take itself seriously. I don't think it's meant to take itself seriously. But I do want to point that out. if you have a group of folks that don't like chaos, don't like randomness, they want to plan out their turns, and they don't necessarily like the take that of other players being able to attack them, it might fall flat for your group. Like I said, I've had both experiences where one group didn't like it, but one group did. This game, 3 to 10 players. Like I said, the box does say 14 plus on it for an age. I think that's more just from the complexity of reading the cards than anything else. There's obviously, as you saw in the video, what you saw in the video was everything. There's no, graphic, depictions of people getting torn apart by aliens or anything like that. But this game is killer. If it looks like something fun, check out Smirk and Dagger's website to pick up your copy. You can probably grab it at a local convention that Smirk and Dagger attends, and grab that there. Play it with your friends, give it a shot, and until next time, keep gaming, friends.